great.
Hey, Buck.
Anyway, I, did I interrupt somebody?
Hey, Buck, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is, did you get that?
Yeah, somewhere between brown and blue.
Yeah, that's right. That there's it's interesting. That's an excellent question. Um, if I were to say one color, then you'd think, well, he's going to put it in every painting. So my favorite color, you might say, what is your favorite color today? And that would make more sense. So that's a great question. Okay, let me say this. I've brought up the Seascape just for the smallest little adjustments, and then we're going to go to the new painting. So I'll turn the camera over to the, and because I have a big monitor in front of me and Lori there, I can say that looks good. Okay, here's where's my palette? Oh, there it is. Here's a couple things I have done, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What I have done is taken a little bit of the gleam that was on the sun area on the horizon and blended up just a little bit. That's such a nice feeling of the sun coming down through, so it doesn't just end up with a sharp line. And then I took some of the kind of the cloud color and I put a little bit down in the water under the city lights as well. Let's see, there was another thing that I did. Oh, the right side of this big wave, this was much too light. So I softened that a little bit. You know, I was watching, I think I was watching this one, and then afterwards I switched and I saw Bill, that big enthusiasm and the energy. And I thought, well, you know, when I do these before the people, you're doing it more systematically, more teaching them. So it isn't quite like on PBS where you do this and then you do this. So I hope you realize that I have enthusiasm with keeping my feet on the floor. Okay, then the other thing is I want to have a little bit, where are you, palette? Down here. I have some blue and white. And my first thought was, I'm going to add just a little foam pattern in there because that's too strong all the way across. But what I decided instead is, and I take a little blue and white, I'm going to put, and these are vertical lines, strokes, and I'll just soften that one a little bit at the top. But you have a feeling of the foam reflecting in the water, so you don't have that long, straight path. Okay, that's what I want to do on this. Sign it and deliver it. Okay, we'll take this down. Now I have something that's going to be very interesting. You see a blank canvas, I mean a blank easel. I'm going to bring up a small sketch. And this is Rocky Nook Park in Santa Barbara. Now let me bring up a larger one of it. Same thing. You want to see even a larger one of it? I have it. It's a biggie. Well, that's powerful, isn't it? Let's see. I need to move this way. Yeah. Is that enough, Lori, or do I need to bring it down or up? Let me see. Just
need to bring it. You need to bring it. Yeah, that way.
That way.
Maybe. Well, yeah. No. Well, you were doing it right. Maybe back out just a little tiny bit so we can see the whole thing. There we go, and then up.
So if I go down the stairs, I've backed up everything.
Oh, we don't want you going down the stairs. There you go. That's perfect, Buck.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you recognize that, Lynn? Just shake your head. You don't
I certainly do. I love it.
Okay. Okay, let me, good heavens. I'm down. Let's put these back. And then let's see, I think what I'll do is keep this one. Now I want to show you something in preparation for this. I don't remember, Lynn. Ooh, I need to bring this a little closer. You're seeing the tour. How was the tour of the studio? Was that pretty good?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if I nuts. Usually, I guess when you do PBS, you have a film crew that kind of knows what they're doing.
Well, you know what, Beck? It's hard to be your own cameraman. You and Tom, though, both have figured it out, so you do a great job.
Well, let's see what happens there. Is that, I need to have that up just a little bit. Okay, well, we'll see you next week. All right. Now, what I have is I took a white canvas and I pushed some colors on it, and I'm going to give a demonstration how I did it. But first, I'm going to put this up. Let's see. And this is what I want you to see. Oh, I love the energy, everything in that. I think, oh, that's great. And then you say, well, how did you do it? I will show you, as Bill would say. So I have a white canvas, and I'll push the camera so you can see this. But first, what I'm doing is just wetting the canvas and spraying some water on it. So this is just a wet canvas. Now I'm going to put on, you betcha, right there. Okay, I'm going to put on some chunks of red. So Jesse, that's one of my favorite colors today. I'm going to put on some blue. That's for Gina. And let's see, some yellow ochre. And what I'm doing, I'm not trying to match the image on the canvas. I don't have that need to do. Just want to show you how I do these, and each of these are unique. Okay, I have a little larger knife. Okay, now I'll push it down with my knife. Sometimes I've even used white to add to it. And again, let me repeat, I am not trying to duplicate what's up above, because every time you do this, it's going to be different. Okay, now I'm going to take some more water. Oh, don't you love that sound? I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Is this acrylic or oil?
Acrylic, thank you for asking. See, and the thing is, if you have enough water on it, you can play little games. And what I mean by games is you watch the movement. Ooh, beautiful. And then when you get something that you feel pretty good, and you always watch, see in the middle, I have just a little too strong on the texture of the red was still holding Jesse, and that's because I like red. Okay, then once I get that, and I'll just hold it so you can see a little bit. Let's see, let's go this way. Yes. Then I'll set it down on the floor where it is totally level. And you do this in your studio so that you don't have your wife saying, how did you get that mess on the floor? Okay, so let's bring this up to here. I'll push it forward just a little bit. Let's see if I can make this. Is that, Lori, is that going to work, or am I, is that pretty close?
You're very close. I
Okay.
think, I can't see the two corners on the left side, but I think it'll be fine if
The
you
left
get,
side is here, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
But
No, that's all
but the
right.
thing is, if you start to go to those corners, we can always move it. So
Okay.
I like how close it is. So that's really good.
No, what I did, Lori, I took a photograph of this at this stage, and then I'm going to use chalk to put on where I want these trees. And you can kind of, let's see, where's my, I don't know where my little sketch is. I got the one up above, and that'll give me all the guidance that I need. And then this one comes down here. It's not connected to that one. Give this, the thing that I find on so many of the landscapes that are being critiqued on the Tuesday show is that there's the tapering of the branches doesn't happen. It's either too wide below and then it gets too skinny, or so on, or too narrow below to hold up all of that stuff. Okay, let's see in here, and on the sun, if what I did, I measured and I came and I put it right there. You will notice on this canvas, we're going to end up doing brushwork today, and then next time we'll use just about 90% knife. Okay, now the water. Okay, so gleams, you say, well, they need to travel straight down, but if the water isn't over there, you have to put where the nearest part would be, which would be there, which may not be right down. Let's just measure that to make sure. Okay, you have that, you come down, 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 down. See, that would be hitting in the land. So the lightest light's going to be right there, and then subsequent ones. What I'm finding on a lot of things that bother me on landscapes in the water is that it's so straight across and so repetitious. We want the water to be kind of, if you see the back of the head, that's all right. I picked up a piece of chalk down here. So you want this really to feel like it's flowing. Okay, we have this one here. We have kind of a land mass behind this, like that. This one goes up higher there. And then this tree starts over on the side, and you kind of look, you say, well, this one is lower than this one. So let's push this one up just a little bit. And we still want it to be just a little lower than this one. This one comes up. Remember, Lynn, on you did that so well, but you had this coming clear over there. Point out her good point. Oh, okay. Oh. And some rocks, just a little bit. We'll have a good rock there. Rock, rock, rock. Okay. And I want those to feel like it's coming down, but yet those are almost repetitious. This one's here and this one's back, so it's not identical twins watching the flow. It looks like they have a pole or something there. Okay, so now what I want to do is to go ahead and put on some paint. And this, as we suggested this time, will be with the brush. Okay, splash, splash, how then click loose color, loose knife. Okay, good. Now I don't know what to do, but we'll do it. All right, here comes the first, oh shoot. Get back in the pouch. Danielle, you do such a good job. How come you're so organized? Gee, that's so unfair. Okay, so I'll start with the tree darks, 2 sap green and 1 burnt umber. 2 and 1.
Buck, you want to show us your palette? Oh, there we go.
Jeez.
Sorry.
No, I'm sure there were about 30 other people that said, why doesn't he show his palette?
Hey, Buck, do you think before before you start painting, we could take a moment and
Yes.
because I see Norma's on here.
Oh my gosh.
And I'd like to, I'm going to unmute everyone and I'd like to sing happy birthday to Norma. It's Norma's birthday today. Norma, I'm going to spotlight you, okay? Okay, here's Norma.
Oh my gosh. Hi, sweetie.
Okay, just a minute. I'm going to unmute all. Go ahead, say it again, Norma.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Norma.
Happy birthday to
To
you.
you.
Love you. Hi.
Love you, Norma.
Yeah. Love you, Norma. So glad to see you here.
How old she is?
No, we can't hear Norma. Sorry, Norma, we can't hear you. All right, well, I'm going to mute everybody again and we'll turn it back over to Buck. But happy birthday, Norma. We're happy to have you on today.
Good to see you.
Oh, there she is.
One of my very, very dearest friends. Okay, just a second. Looking for you to spotlight you again. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay.
But what I think, what I will do first, I said I'd take the 2 sap green and 1 umber, but I want to take some Van Dyke brown first. I think it'll be advantageous for me if I just kind of sketch in the trunks so that I don't necessarily lose them. They'll lose a little bit, but just so I have a little bit of a guide. So I'm using the Van Dyke brown and I have the Badger brush. What I often will do on this, see the color that I put on first was acrylic. And I will often take and just take acrylic, go ahead and put these on. But I wanted you to see my placement of them, and I couldn't use acrylic because they wouldn't dry fast enough to use with the oils now. So I drew it in, as you noticed, with chalk. And I like that because it leaves no aftertaste in the mouth. Ooh, here's one where I need to do what I was preaching, is not narrow too fast. A lot of this will be lost as we put on the and that, but this still gives a good semblance of where it's to go. Here's one over here, and this will have eventually, you won't see it now, a little branch that goes out towards the sun. This one is quite a bit more narrow than the top one, the left one. Just a little bit there, and just a little stronger down in there. Oh, I like that. And you know, I'm not putting anything on the ends of these because the foliage is going to cover that. Otherwise, and I do find several when I critique the paintings, they have just cut off. And I have this big painting that I showed, landscape, where a couple were cut off on mine. Shame. Jesse and Gina. Oh my gosh, that is so great. Thank you for coming on. Is Charmaine on? She said she's going to come on, and Peggy from Salt Lake. Oh gee, I got so many people that's so good. And it's nice to be able to see the replay on Facebook on the Alexander page. Okay, let's go to the far right. Even though there's going to be a lot of warmth on these, I'll still draw them in with the dark color, which is the Van Dyke brown. And I'm not saying that this will be the extent of my branches. So once I put the foliage on, then we may have to put in another branch here and there. I like the way this shows up. I wasn't sure how I was going to do this. I love painting with risk. Oh, where you just jump in there and do it. That's why this technique of a flow is so good. You get so many different things, accidental things. And when you look for different things in it, oh, it's so great. Now this, I'm going to get rid of the white there, but at the moment, it's going to be helpful to just leave that sort of blank. Let's come down, since we have this color, let's come down and put in just a little darks in advance. I'm going to, you can't see it, but I'm measuring the distance of this. Yeah, that's right. How come you were so lucky? You got that just right. And you might find when you do this and you're painting from a sketch, maybe something will come out that'll give you a little more of an idea of what could happen. You
Hey,
just,
Buck, could you explain to us why it's helpful to have the white over on the edge? You said it'll be helpful for now. Could you explain to us why?
I'm glad you asked that question. It absolutely is not helpful.
Okay, all right.
But you know, when I move this around, and then when it feels good in the middle, I just set it down, and I often end up on color on the white on the edges. And I would prefer maybe coming back later and putting just a little grayish green or something on there, because the white is definitely not sought after. That's a great question, Lori. That helped a lot, I'm sure.
Go ahead and lower your camera, please.
Gee.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go.
Well, it says this video, the host has spotlighted your video for everyone. Would you like to unmute your phone to speak? So I'm already, but
I can't see the right side of the canvas.
Just a minute. Let me get rid of this thing. Where are you? Oh, here you are.
Is
Okay,
it because the picture, the people are there, Rita? Is it because the people are there? Or so,
No,
whoever just said that, whoever else said that?
That was me, Rita.
Okay.
I've got a lot of space on the left side of the canvas, which is empty, and then I can't see the right side end.
Huh.
Okay, so so Buck, maybe turn the camera a little bit more towards the right.
I can see the whole thing on mine.
Yeah, I can too. Sometimes what happens is the pictures of the people get in the way, and you'll learn that you can drag those around and put them in different places on your computer, on your screen. Go ahead, Buck.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And this, I don't want you to sit there and wondering what should I be doing, because I really like that you ask the questions or make the comments as it needs to be done. Okay, I have now two, and I'm going to go to the sky, two yellow ochre and one what? One sap green. And let's make it more, so it looks like it's 3 yellow ochre. No, that's 3 sap green. 2 yellow ochre and 1 sap green. Yeah, gee, let me mix that again, because I think I'm confusing me. So I'm taking the sap green, and I'll take equal parts with that. Yeah, that looks close. Let's have one more. So it's 2 yellow ochre, 1 sap green. I think I said that in the beginning. It's your fault, Jesse. You're not listening. Okay, here we go. I have a fan brush. Eventually, when I put the highlight in the middle, and then I'll let some of this come up to be character. Oh, I like what happened there. Going across those branches, I can still see that branch. It'll be a guide for me. Down just a little lower. Okay, now let's take yellow ochre. Oh my gosh. Am I going to take straight yellow ochre? Is that possible? It is possible. Now, when we come lower, then we'll go ahead and blend it into the green that I put on first. And you'll notice that I sort of stay away from the sun area right in there. So we'll have that good, strong light. I love the blend. I love the blend, but we will be using some palette knife next week. Come prepared. A little bit of this greenish tone. How come you did that? I don't want that. I want the yellow ochre.
We're still using acrylic.
Oh, this is totally oil. I'm not using any acrylic on painting this, except the splash that I did off camera, but demonstrated for you on camera. Does that make sense?
So Buck, you might want to explain that you showed them the reason why you started with the canvas that you did is that the acrylic needed to dry.
Yes, yes.
And rather than having us wait for that one that he just showed us to dry, he just went ahead and prepared one so he could get right into painting. So the acrylic isn't entirely dry, and now he's painting oil on top of that.
Yeah, this acrylic is totally dry. And I do that many times where I'll put on that kind of a wash and let it flow and let it dry. And then maybe a couple, 3 days later before I go back to it. I really want to make sure that the acrylic underneath is dry. Okay, now what I'm going to take is some yellow and white. Let me see if I can give you a formula. Where's my paint red? Here it's one. Okay, so let's take white. Did I write down the formula? It's 1 yellow and how much white? I think it's 1 and 1. We'll check and make sure that's right. I don't think it's right. I'm going to try 2 white and 1 yellow. You should have done what you were first going to do. Oh, this would be good because it always gives you that chance to go just a little stronger. Now, what I like to do, and do I want to do it now, is put on with a knife and then spread it around a little bit. Yeah, you see that? That is called a loaded knife. And I'll just flatten it on like that.
Hey, Buck, a question just came in to me asking if you oiled out.
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you.
But let me just think about that for a minute. I often will do it where I will oil it out, or I dip into the magic clear a little bit as I go forth. Now, next time when we go for the finish of this, then we will oil it out. So that's a great question. So the answer is yes, but not, and it's also no. So it's kind of a choice. I didn't oil it. This by the neighbors there being wet, I can kind of blend it in, just pushing the knife around the flat part of it. And if I find any need to bring that down just a little bit into that, I put a little bit of the outside paint on the knife. Jesse, are you still awake? You still watching
sir.
and enjoying it?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Oh, great. He is one special fellow, also a good looking fellow. Okay, there's a strong light. Now let's go ahead with a mixture that I might have mentioned earlier. I'm going to use a fan brush, and this is the 2 sap green, 1 burnt umber. Gee, I guess I mixed that in advance. That doesn't seem fair, does it? And you're going to say, what's the difference between that and the tree? Not much. And I'm putting a little bit on, and then just as I spread it around.
Buck,
Sorry,
raise your
Buck,
camera.
I can't see the top.
What's that?
Raise your camera, please.
Oh, gee. Now everyone will see it. No, it's fun to tease. Now, as I'll go across the trunk up above, and what happens? I actually disguise it. You don't see it. Now here I'll use the same dark, and I'll go over and get a hit against the light on the edge of the canvas. I don't want that white to be there. And that was a very helpful question, Lori, when you asked on the purpose of the white on the edge. Boy, it takes me a long time to get there. I kept thinking, what's going to happen? Gee. Will I have time enough to do this? Absolutely. Now, as I come over to the right, which means towards the sun from this area, I want to have just a little more gentle paint, and then gentle painting. And then we will be putting some reddish tone on the edges. This is one thing that I just absolutely preach. The edges of the leaves have to show some result of having been in the path of the sun. So go across there just a little bit, down here. There's so many little subtleties. I hope you can hear our dog barking because that's such an important part of my dear wife's life. Coming over here, not much paint. And now I'll come down. You can see that real tan look there. Well, that's just the way it worked out. So we'll now kind of cut into it a little bit. Oh, come on, Don, get that on. Oh.
Hey, Buck,
Yeah.
maybe it'd be better if you just backed your camera out a little bit because you're kind of going off the screen a little bit. I had you pull in really close, but let's back it out just a little bit. And then just down. Okay, there you go. There we go. Thank you.
Lori is such a leader. You know, I used to think, gosh, she just fearless. She'll jump in that car, and I don't know who it was following for some reason. We were going somewhere, business wise, and I realized it isn't that she perfectly knows where to go, but if she needs to make an adjustment, she did. So she'd back around and go another way. It was so impressive. Fearless.
Directionally challenged.
You know the right way. Okay, oh my gosh, this is super. Okay, this one needs to come down a little bit, but it's going to be some of that reddish leaves. So for now, I'm just touching a little bit. What I would like to do, of course, if you come on the other side, I want to make sure I save enough time to put in the river. Okay, here, over here, this is dark right in there. And what's nice, having done the little sketch in that, you know, it may not be perfect. That was done on location or from memory. I don't know which it was, on Rocky Nook Park in Santa Barbara. But it's kind of fun to do it and then correct things that may need correction. Okay, we'll let these go up just a little bit. And see, Lynn, how gently those are placed on. Who's Lynn? She's one of the fine artists that I know. Oh, don't that look nice? I love it. And the what I feel is so good is, even though we intend to come back and put some color on, this is enhanced so much early by what is showing through. And that's good. So you might ask, what if you put on that first wash, let it dry, and then you know what you're going to paint, and you kind of put just a little reddish in places and a little that, and then not doing the whole canvas, and then switch that around. You could do that. I love some of the great artists, Turner and Innes, and some of these that weren't afraid to step out of their comfort zone. We just almost afraid to give ourselves permission. You're the artist. Yeah, but I don't know. Do it anyway. Try it. And that's a lot with a lot of things in life. Just be willing to try. And if baseball season ever comes back, be willing to swing for the fence. Ugh, bring baseball back. Okay, what do I want here? Nothing there, a little bit there, just soften that just a little bit, just a little higher. Oh. Now, part of this is not that tree, it's a neighbor. Here comes the neighbor. Let's go up higher in there. Oh, it's just so great when you know, you're doing the PBS and they hold up a sign and says 15 minutes and then 10, 5, 4, 3, 2. Gee, here Lori says do it till it's right, and that is such a nice feeling. Oops, I see up there. I'm going to have to put some sky in there, so we'll wait on that for a second. And this one is maybe you can't see the model. Where's my other board? I don't know where it is, but let me bring down the model just a minute. Okay, I'm over in here right now, and some of this orangey color and the reddish color we'll put on later. So we're just kind of establishing things with kind of a simple palette. Simple means very few color variations. I put just a little medium on there so it goes a little faster. Okay, let's get the Lori corner taken care of. And what we'll go till 12, and then if anybody has any questions, we'll stay. I don't have to leave right away, but I do like your questions.
12 buck or 11?
11. Well, you caught me there.
Yep.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, so I'm going to have red there. So let's, for now, just leave that. Are you sure you want to leave that? Yeah. Okay, let's come down on the land. We'll put a little bit of dark in there and along here. What's down in the corner? What is it? A snow? No. Leave. And leave is not spelled L-E-A-F. Now, there may be times when you have some spots of white that work into the scheme. Let's go over on the other side. Pretty much what we want there. Maybe just a little cast shadow. Well, this one won't cast because the red's going to be in front of it. Okay, now I have a little mixture. Let's just come in here. What's that white thing? Well, there's a little log laying there. But I don't know if we'll keep them or not. All right, now I'm going to take some phthalo blue and white. 2 white, 1 phthalo blue. And we'll put this in here, right above there, down in here. And then in the foreground, quite a bit of it. Can you, yeah, you can see. Okay, right in here. Get just a little juice on it. and this goes over a way, so I'll just plow into some of that darks there. And I want to push this up just a little bit so that doesn't come too low below, too low below. What are you doing? Huh. On the original, which is up above, these two almost touch each other. So it gives just a little water coming through there. And that's a nice variation. What happens here? This comes out a little bit. Okay, now let's come with a little light. And I'm going to choose, this is white, and this is the phthalo blue. So it's just a little teeny touch. It's very off-white, but it doesn't have much blue in it. Pick it up with a knife. Let me just clean that knife so that you can see just a little bit on the knife. Okay, we'll put this right in here. I believe that back part, and I'm using my magic finger, let's pull that down so we don't go too high. Good job. That's right where I want you. Okay, then we'll come down the next spot. We'll put a little bit under a little waterfall there, and we can just pull that down slightly. The thing that I kind of try to teach is, rather than it just being all down equally, there's certain places where it rushes. Now it could come down another place, but I'm choosing not to. So then let's have another highlight down here. Oh, I'm so glad that we'll have time to talk to the people. Oops, we just take that rock and just watch the edge so it's a little sharper. And then we come down below it, which means you're creating a little waterfall, a little water coming through there. And then down at the bottom, you are the bottom. Okay, let's do this first. Let's put a little bit more in here. And lower. And lower. And I'll go a little bit to the left. And I'll go a little bit to the right. Nothing happened there. To the right. Okay, I think if I take and just soften those just a little bit with the fan brush would be good. Which fan brush do you want? I want you. You're the small one. I love the Alexander brushes. If you guys don't have Alexander brushes, you're 20 points behind to start with. Okay, I'm going to just push this across a little bit. I almost like that, where you feel like that's a little higher. It kind of indicates the water's coming down from there. Okay, we already have this coming over. We'll just blend that a little bit. And then here we have it coming down. Blend just a little bit. Speak to us, Buck. We can't hear you. Oh, it's so much fun to talk to myself. Never have a wrong answer. Okay, over here, just blend that in a little more and more in here. I find the one place that kind of bothers me a little bit, so I'm taking the blue and white just there. So that's sort of in the shadows. I like that so much that I'm going to even consider a little there, a little on the top there, a little over on the right side, right side, right side, middle side, and over on the right. Oh, gosh, it's been great. I think we'll stop there, Lori. Oh, let me do one other thing. It'll be kind of fun just to see what's going to happen. I want to take orange. That was yellow ochre. Okay, equal parts. Orange and yellow ochre. See, that by this being on now, when it's dry, it'll be so much easier to work with it. And I won't do it now, but I really preach the middle. You got the dark, you got the light, you need to have a middle. And so many landscapes, they just put on the light on the one side. Well, we'll leave it one-sided now. Oh, doesn't that look good? Aren't you glad I'm doing that? Yes, thank you. And here, did I hear movement? Did I hear movement? Oh, I can't stop. I need to put this on just because I want it to be there and dry. So when we come Monday, so we'll put a little bit on this guy. And it's not saying when I do this that I'm finished with these trunks. Even though I will put on the middle value, I still want to just see what's happening. And of course, some of these will be even lighter. But I love working on this having that priming underneath, you know, I don't know what you call it. I call it a flow. It could be, it's just expressive priming. We'll come up with a good name, because it's so helpful. It kind of sparkles your imagination, even though you don't have much semblance of it when you finish. There's a certain joy as you're painting that you do it. Okay, let's call that where we'll stop for questions or comments.
Okay, before anyone unmutes, somebody has raised their hand. I forgot that is an option. So I don't have a name here, but the person who's raised their hand, go ahead and ask the question. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead and ask a question. Unless you accidentally raised your hand.
It was me, Lindy.
Okay, Lindy, go ahead.
It was right in the beginning. I wanted to ask whether he was using acrylics on top of the acrylics or was he using oils, but it came out that he was using the oils.
Yes, oil over the acrylics.
Okay.
And what
size? Splashing it around is what I call it.
Yeah, it's great. Now, when I look at see, I can see my painting on the monitor, and what I see that bothers me is the width of this up to here, and then it kind of narrows too much going up. So I'll have to widen that a little bit. In fact, I can do it right now. I'll just take and that's better. Yes.
What size canvas are you using? And,
This is
and was it cadmium red or was it alizarin in the beginning with the acrylic?
The acrylic was a naphtha red, so it's. Let's see. And did I answer just one part of the question?
Yes. What size canvas, Buck?
Oh, it's 18 by 24.
Mm-hmm. Did you use those same colors of acrylic on this background that you did on the one you showed us?
Yes.
Okay, then maybe you could give me a list of those colors that you used and we can post it or something.
Yes.
All right, anybody have any questions for Buck?
I do, Buck. You said on the top right in the sky, you're gonna put that in later than the,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Would it be beneficial to put some in now for us or wait until you show us?
I think it'd be beneficial to do it now.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Let's, I have some blue and white. And let's see, I need to add out just a little red. Let's see what this looks like.
Put in, like, if you were going to put liquid clear on it later and maybe glaze the edges, wouldn't that just do the same thing?
Yeah, that I like that idea of the clear and then a little glaze.
Yeah, you created a monster with that one, man. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's blue and alizarin and white, Lynn.
Equal parts?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll just put some of that dark edging back in.
Was that splash of acrylic in place of gesso?
In place of what?
Gesso?
No, because the canvas was already primed white, and it didn't need any sealing done at all. Oops.
Did you, when you put the water on the canvas to begin with?
Yes.
Did you leave it on for a while, or did you go ahead and put your color on after that?
Well, I put the color on quite quickly because you want the wetness on the canvas, and so after I push the paint around, I'll spray it. But this, I had to wipe a little bit. This didn't come out so well, but this is what I had there. Gee.
Okay.
So I would rework on that. I wanted to show you the technique, and the result needs to be a little adjusted. In fact, when I do it, I'll spray with water, put the acrylic on, push it around, spray it, set it down, but then periodically I'll come back to it and decide if I have to twist the board of the canvas a little bit so it runs another way. So it's not just a one-time, put it on, spread it around, let it set.
Buck, do you have an idea in your head of something you're going for before you add the color? Well, obviously you're placing the colors on the canvas, but do you have something in mind, or do you get it done and then look at the canvas and say, okay, what can I make out of this?
Yeah, it's generally what I make out of this, but maybe I'll have, I'll say I want to do a seascape, but I don't have it in mind, so I'll just push some color on, and as it's a little bit, I think, oh, that looks good, and set it down. So you do it with some thought. That having something in mind isn't a bad idea.
I love this.
Thank you.
I do too. And I have one other question for you. Lori, did you say you would send us a list of colors?
Yeah, we can do that. We can, what I'll do, I hope everyone on here is getting our daily tips. If not, if you're not getting our daily tips in your inbox, go out to our website, alexanderart.com, and sign up for the daily tips. And because sometimes we add things in there, and that's where we'll put it. It will put it in the beginning of one of the tips or something like that.
Okay.
That hole off to the right there is cool looking there.
The portrait?
The one he's doing now, like the sun coming down around over to that hole in the woods there.
So what
No,
about
the
it?
other one had it. You know, you should save that spot.
Save this spot?
No idea.
Over to the right, about in the middle there.
Over here?
Down, 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 over, right there. That a little bit closer. They got
Well,
it's like a pathway through there.
Well, what's going to happen there is that's where this red's going to be.
And like, would you ever change your mind along the way and say, "Oh, I like that pathway there. I would like to just keep that there."
Yeah, that's a very good comment. I'll give that some thought.
I'm just saying, you know, I know you're trying to do the one that you did, but would like, when you do it again, you would say, "There goes."
Yeah, I think I think it almost would be helpful to have a little path there, but to show the one that I'm working from how to do it, I'm going to stay with that original plan. But that's a very valid comment, and if we can adjust as we're doing things, be open to guidance, you know, and that brings a lot of success in life and in art.
You know, I think, Buck, all of your programming from public television, when he paints a painting on television, then he has to turn around for the book, paint it exactly the way he just painted it. So some of that programming probably sticks with you a little, Buck.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
And then you say the curse of conformity be done with it. So that's where I would change. Like I would change it personally if I was doing it. I know you're trying to stick with where you're teaching, but if I was doing it myself and I changed it, would you say, hey, I don't like that there when you're critiquing it?
Well, in critiquing it, I might say, let's just say that this is a finished painting. I'll say, okay, my path goes up to the sun. Here's another path. It may be a little confusing. Which way do I go? Do I go up here or do I go up here?
Thank you.
If I were to use this one, I might bring it down just a little bit so it's not quite as dominant, but I think that's a neat idea to be able to walk through the woods rather than say, I can't walk through the water to get back there. That's a good comment, Billy.
Like I'm just saying, like letting what's there guide you what you see in what's there.
Absolutely.
Like even with the acrylic as you're putting the woods and things on.
Absolutely.
You could have a log or stepping stones across to the path.
Yeah, that certainly would work too if it were crossed here, huh?
And I like that bottom thing. Looks like maybe an old some box or something got washed up on a storm.
I think it did.
I want to thank you, Buck. I'm going to try this over the weekend, and I have got to run to another meeting. So have a good day.
I look forward to seeing it.
Thank you, Buck. I love your
Guys,
stuff.
before you get off, I'd like to show you a painting that Buck did. As I was watching him do this, it made me think of it. I went out and got it. This was a painting, and Buck, I hope you don't mind me showing. This was a demonstration he did at Silver Falls.
Spotlight, Lori.
Okay, I haven't put it up yet, but all right, just a second. This is a painting that he did at Silver Falls, probably in about 2008, I'm guessing. And he did it. It was an hour-long demonstration, and so he was entertaining us and educating us, and he did this painting. And it catches people's eyes when they come in the studio, and I just want to show it to you. It's kind of big, so I have to stand up. So he started same process. He did acrylic background, and then he added oil over the top of it.
Good heavens, that looks pretty good.
Can you guys see it?
Yes, absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's awesome, Lori.
I love
Stunning.
that.
Love it.
A lot of action in that waterfall.
Mhm.
Have a good day, everybody.
All right, you too. Well, thank you, you guys, and we'll be back on next week. Buck will continue, and Buck, you know what? You have our permission to gather us as many times as you want to do this painting. So.
Okay, to make the hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.